Alright, we're rolling tape. My name is Gino Van Ingers. I'm Cradle Rocker from KUFO 101.1. This is the story about my career as a musician, as a youngster. And it all takes place when I was 11 years old. Let's do it. The very first band I actually got into was Metallica, because they were a really great band, not to mention the fact that, like, all their songs were just, they were really good, you know? Like, you heard one song, you changed the track to the next, and it was just as good as the last one. And they're really good musicians as well, and I really liked that about them. My brother, Dusty Van Ingers, he's my older brother. He got me into Metallica, actually. He gave me my first record when I was 10 for my birthday. I jammed that record every day of my, well, I had it until I moved to Missouri, actually. That was probably one of my favorite records, just because of the fact that it was about, and it was awesome. I was racing my bike against all the neighbor kids, and all the neighbor kids, really liked me because I was kind of like the leader of the pack back then. Also, I've always kind of been that kind of guy, and it's part of me. Probably inherited it from my father. He's a really cool dude too. But basically, Metallica really got me into music because I watched my dad work his whole life, like hard jobs, like construction. And I never really wanted to work that hard. Not that I'm, not willing to work at all. But just because, like, working, like, construction was never really something I was ever into. So, well, not only that, but, he worked really hard, and I watched him do that. And Metallica's success rate was just unbearable. They sold millions and millions and millions of records. So I kind of had it built up like, I was going to be like this rich, famous rock star someday that everybody in the world is going to know. Just like Metallica. I'll be the next Metallica. And, it doesn't really work out that way. Nothing works out the way you intend it to. And that's life. You got to go with the punches. Well, Metallica was one of my biggest inspirations growing up. But my older brother, Dusty, was my biggest inspiration. He's the one that got me into music, and he's the one that brought me my first guitar. When I moved to Missouri, I flew there on an airplane to go be with my mother. Because my dad was having a hard time kind of raising me and my brother Dusty and stuff. We were living in an RV. And there wasn't much we could really do. So I moved to my mom's. And later on, through time, my brother and my dad moved out there. My brother Dusty ended up picking up the guitar. My dad bought him a guitar for his birthday, I think it was. And I watched my older brother play, and I always thought my older brother was like the coolest dude in the world. I mean, like, nobody could compare to him. To me, he was like the awesomest guy I'd ever met in my life. He could do like the coolest Beavis and Butthead impressions. He drew really cool comics. He sang. And he played guitar. And he was really badass. And like he could fight really good too. And he always had girlfriends. So he was a good brother to look up to. Thanks, Dusty. I love you, man. I do. My brother Dusty, he's the one that really got me kind of like driven into this kind of lifestyle. A lot of it. And then, he got his first guitar. We were kicking it one time, and I remember it. We were living in an RV at an RV park in Pittsburgh, Missouri, And there we go, in Pittsburgh, Missouri. And we'd you know, we didn't have any amps or anything, so we only had like one way to play. So we just played through the stereo through a 1/4-inch jack cord. I saw him playing one day and I was like, hey man, can I try? And I thought he was gonna be like, no dude, you know, I thought he was gonna shut me down. He didn't do that. He didn't do that at all. He looked at me and he was like, yeah man, go ahead, you can try it. We were always a very sharing family and a very giving family, because we never really had much. I mean, we always had enough. That's all we've ever really wanted. In my family, we only just wanted enough, and that's it. And so, you know, he let me play his guitar, and that was really cool. I didn't know anything about playing music then, let alone what a chord was, or, you know, how to hold the guitar properly, or strut the strings right. So I just picked it up and I just started strumming the chords, you know, or just strumming the strings, and it was like dun dun dun, you know, just making noise, making havoc in the back room of the RV. And that was the beginning, man. That was the opener. That was the intro to the book of, you know, my life. And, you know, from that day on, every year has just been a chapter. From that day on, from the day I picked that guitar up and strung those strings, everything else has just been every year's a chapter. And I've got 11 chapters so far in this music book. And it's been, to say the least, it's been really exciting. More than your average rock star, I guess. I mean, I've lived, man, through the thick and the thin, through the toughest times and the hardest times. And I've had some of the greatest times and some of the funnest times. I live more for the fun times now, because they're more, it's just more relaxing and more, it's easier to live not so stressed out nowadays, or taking things too serious than when I used to. But, you know, picking up the guitar at a young age, 11 years old, you know, after I got done playing my brother's guitar, we had a neighbor, his name was CJ, and he had a homemade white guitar. You know, my brother was dating his sister Sarah at the time, Sarah Dennis, I think that was her last name. Really good friend of ours, actually, good family friend. And you know, so my brother went and worked out a deal with CJ to get the guitar for me, and he did all this without me knowing, kind of like a surprise. I thought that was so awesome, man. What else could you ask for, right? So I think my brother traded him like $20 and some weed or something for the guitar. I'm not sure what it was really. But he brought the guitar home, and I remember when he brought it home and he gave it to me. He's like, go ahead, man, come on, you want to play? And we went into the back room and we started playing. And we started jamming. And I was like, oh man, I feel like I actually had meaning, you know what I mean? Because I was always confused as a kid, you know, going through like tough times. You know, me and Dusty, we were homeless in San Diego together. That's when we became really close, because, you know, he was 14 already, you know, living like, he had the mindset of like a 25-year-old, you know. I was 9, had the mindset of maybe like a 16-year-old. I don't know. And so we were homeless then, because my dad was in prison at the time, but he got out. And then so that was tough, man. So I felt like, you know, like I have a reason in this life. This is awesome. So the guitar he gave me was like the door opener. It was the key to the lock, man. That guitar was the key to the lock, to unlock the door to everything that I've done. Everything that I've like completed and successfully made in my life. I thank him so much, even to this day. He is still my guru brother, because he is, man. And I always thought it was cool too when he was playing guitar. I was like, man, my brother's awesome. I was like, I wanted to idolize him, so I did idolize him a little bit, a lot. I stole everything from him. We even sound alike. What do you expect, though? We're related, right? Exactly. So, but he is my, he's one of my best friends, and he knows it. I know he does, man. He's a good guy. So the guitar was the beginning of the birth of the Cradle Rocker '89. This is part 1.